Hi, welcome to this channel on magnetic energy, technology, principles, applications. This video is about magnetic energy and healing. And let me just remind everyone that many years ago, magnetic energy was proven to the public, at the very least, several hundred people, multiple times. And as soon as we are given the go ahead, we will prove magnetic energy again publicly and maybe even through these videos if I'm lucky. And I just want to say for now that I have to present this information as theoretical. And I think that's really important, and it's really helpful for me to be able to present it as theoretical because it allows me to get the information out there. And so that's very good for what we need right now. So let's just bear with me and let's just work with that model for now. So, the medical industry is a great example of what can happen in a society where scientists and the society at large has embraced the idea of empiricism and scarcity. So, you've got this medical model that is economically driven, which is absolutely counterproductive, and really it kind of shoots itself in the foot in many ways. And you've got this whole system of medical science that's based on this empiricism that assumes that the physical human body is all there is, and that this stuff that we call our body is actually solid, like there's actually matter to it or mass to it, and it's actually physical. When in reality, and even conventional science knows this now, but from a magnetic point of view, everything is energy, including our physical bodies. This is we are living in a very complex network of magnetic resonance, molecular structures, and they happen to be at a particular resonation or pulse rate, if you will, that allows this to feel like it's a physical existence, and all the sensations and all the senses that we have are all different expressions of magnetic energy signatures combined, and some of their byproducts will be electrical signatures, and that all of that is still energy. And even if you get into our energy body, the etheric templates that we are connected to, a higher vibration of the same type of very complex, very systematic of structures of energy, molecular structures, and magnetic resonances that keep everything together and running and moving with a constant inflow and outflow of magnetic energy. So it's very overdue for the medical world to start looking at human beings as systems of energy and to treat everything from an energetic point of view, especially if possible, a magnetic energy point of view. And don't even get me started on the crazy amount of control that pharmaceutical companies have over the medical curriculums and the FDA and doctors, and pushing pills and not really wanting to necessarily cure things but to treat symptoms over and over and over and get people addicted to medications that are unhealthy for them and have countless negative side effects. That whole model, that whole system that's economically driven is absolutely ludicrous, and God willing will come to an end sooner than later and be replaced with a much more enlightened, advanced type of medical science that will be based on magnetic energy practices and principles. So let's get into some of the ideas behind how you would actually heal someone for real. Someone that has a physical ailment, maybe it's an injury, maybe it's a broken arm or leg, maybe it's some sort of virus or some sort of bacteria infection, or maybe it's some sort of growth in their body, maybe it's cancerous, maybe whatever it is, something that's wrong with a person. So one of the first things that you would do with anyone that needs medical attention is to put them in, for example, a magnetic energy resonance chamber. So what that would do, first of all, is it would raise their vibratory rate, their magnetic resonance, to a higher level where they are essentially phasing in and out of what we call like our common reality. So their body will literally start blinking in and off, like out of our present existence. And what that does is it allows them to get at a higher vibratory rate and then it allows us to examine their connectivity with their higher template, with their energy body, and to see if there are any broken connections in there or blocked connections, and raise that energy vibration and start examining their energy body in terms of their physical body. And what that does is it puts their body in a state of perfect connectivity with their energy body, and in accordance with their DNA, it allows us to have spontaneous regeneration, accelerated spontaneous regeneration of any type of bones or tissues or anything, things that we think of as solid but are really just molecular structures that we can generate and regenerate instantaneously. So that would be instantaneous repair of any type of broken bones or anything like that. Instantaneous repair, instantaneous cleansing of any type of virus or bacteria from their body, instantaneous removal of any type of foreign growth in their body. It puts their body in this state of resonance that allows a doctor or a healer or a trained practitioner to examine them and to, not just physically, but imagine this, to psychically tune in to what is happening with them physiologically and energetically, so that those corrections can be made instantaneously without any kind of drilling or cutting or stitching, without an invasive process. This is working with resonant signatures that occur throughout the human physiology and correcting those energy signatures, correcting those deficits. And let's just touch on something that's very critical in the magnetic energy world. Blood is like a form of biological magnetic current. Okay, so blood has particular polarities and charges in it, as we know, that's common science. But here's the thing, our blood and our hearts have a symbiotic relationship. The blood has a magnetic charge in it that receives that etherically through a high level of energetic exchange and magnetic energy exchange. It converts that energy into a charge in that blood, which then tells the heart to pump. So there's a symbiotic relationship in there. It's the fuel that tells the heart what's going on. So one of the first things you do from a magnetic energy point of view and an etheric healing point of view is you make sure the person's blood is at the ideal optimal ratios, magnetically speaking. And so that could include any type of elements or chemicals like oxygen, for example. And all those typical things, we will immediately, through resonation, get their blood into the ideal state for pumping the heart. Okay, so little things like that when you work, it's looking at the human body from a resonance perspective. It's looking at the brain from a resonance perspective. So let's talk about like mental health for a second. If a person is struggling with depression or struggling with any type of mental illness, we can look at the resonations in their brain compared to their mind, what we might call their mind, or their energy representation in their energy body of that brain and that connectivity, and look for those blockages. And what magnetic energy does, one of the things it allows you to do, is dive into the subatomic components, the structures that are in subatomic components, and that allows us to identify clearly where magnetic resonances could be off. It allows us to identify what is happening at a cellular structure. So like if you look at voltage gate ions, or if you look at different molecular processes in the body, Oftentimes, from a conventional point of view, we might say there's some sort of inflammation that's happening in that cell, or the voltage gate ion is not processing properly. We're getting too many ions or whatever in the system. And a lot of times our treatment for that in the medical community is to go with what you might call highly polarized treatments. So that might be some sort of medication or some sort of like anything that might be highly polarized. Whereas from a magnetic point of view, what we're looking at is giving the human body, what we might call the physical body and the energy body, an excessive amount of a neutral pulsing magnetic energy that allows that body to then use that energy to convert it to what it needs to get the correct physiological response or the correct physiological balance. The body and the energy body, they know exactly what they need. The problem is most of the time we fight that process with the medical treatments that are so common today. We fight what is naturally that the body and the energy body naturally want to do. So what magnetic energy does is it gives the physical body and the energy body the exact energy polarity, neutral, mostly neutral, and the resonances that it needs to function 100% efficiently. So now here's the cool part. When you can get into the subatomic structures, we can identify exactly what's causing inflammation in that body. Whether it's gluten or whether it's smoking or alcohol or sugar or whatever it is, we can identify the exact reason for the inflammation. So it allows us to get not only into the cells, but deeper than the cells, and to see the connectivity with the energy body and where the blockage might be between a physical body and an energy body, and then clearing that blockage. Because once that's clear and we have a clear channel of communication of etheric energy moving from the energy body to the physical body, then we can get into very, very optimal health. Not only that, but we're looking at like fountain of youth stuff. The ability for us to age at whatever we want and to cure things as they come up. This changes, stick with me for a second, this changes the entire meaning of life on this planet. This changes everything that we would anticipate in terms of soul healing, spiritual learning, connectivity with our communities, with other entities that are beyond our planet. This gives us the ability to live lives that are far beyond what we are currently doing and that we think we're capable of. And so not only that, but let's say there's some sort of foreign something in the body, and it could be any type of growth. It doesn't matter what it is. When we can examine the subatomic structures of that foreign growth, whatever it is, it could be viral, it could be cancerous, it could be anything. We can identify, from a magnetic energy point of view, we can identify the source of that problem, the source of that foreign growth. Do you understand what I'm saying? So let's just get beyond all the corporate and government bullshit and cover-ups that happen around this planet, from environmental contamination and environmental toxins and cancerous causes of cancer, whether it's from the water or whether it's from power plants or whatever it's from, nuclear disasters. Let's just get beyond all the bullshit and the cover-up studies and all the false studies, because we can get right into the subatomic molecular structures and we can say 100% for certain this is where that growth came from. Period. Identifiable. And that is huge. That makes everyone accountable. Not only does it allow us to heal people, but it also allows us to make governments and corporations accountable for what they've done and to stop doing it, to prove once and for all, unequivocally, where cancer's coming from, where environmental contamination's coming from. This is very important for our planet right now, that we've got to unequivocally prove what's happening to human beings all over this world. And that will give us the ability to do that. That will bring doctors into the role that they really should be in. And that's healers. That's being able to help people and heal people and not just treat their symptoms and keep raking in a huge paycheck and killing the economic system with so many medical bills. It's like the number one reason there's bankruptcy in America. And the tax implications of the medical world right now are out of control. So all of that can come to a grinding halt, and we can actually start treating people the way they need to be treated and actually heal ailments and get them into optimal health and really move forward with an evolutionary process, an enlightenment that is life-changing and world-changing. And so I think it's important that people understand that new technology, how it impacts different areas of life, such as medicine, such as medical science, and how paradigms that were established in the past, they have consequences. It's very important for us to think about what's creating our economic system, what's creating our medical system, and what do we need to do to change that? What is the new paradigmatic system that we need to embrace to correct this, and how we need to embrace an etheric model, an energetic model, a model that says, no, we're not just physical beings, we're energetic beings, and we exist in more than one dimension, and we are dynamic. We're not static, we're dynamic, we're constantly changing, and given the right technology and given the right level of consciousness, we have the ability to heal ourselves and maintain that healing. And with that soapbox, I will see you next time.